There it goes.
Yeah.
It was that stick, the one that you put in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. It was doing something.
Well, it has.
This is Michael Gerace with Michelangelo's Plumbing. It is July 3rd, 2018, and we are at 1517 North Beverly Drive, Beverly Hills, California, performing a video sewer inspection through the 4-inch ABS plastic mainline cleanout on the right-hand side of the house as you are facing the house from the street. It's toward the back corner of the house. And we're going to run through the ABS plastic. We've run a preliminary inspection, and it is ABS plastic running toward the curb area and then transitions to a concrete piping for just a couple feet and then transitions to vitreous clay. So we're going to begin our sewer inspection at this time. These are mine? Okay, and this is the side of the house. This is the side of the house going toward the front, and that's the side of the house going toward the back of the house. And we have our ABS plastic mainline clean out here. And we have an access door right here on the side of the house, which leads back up underneath. And you can see the plumbing in the crawl space area. So we're going to begin right now. We're going to run through the 4-inch ABS plastic mainline cleanout out toward the house, or out toward the street, excuse me. We're going to run out toward the street. And we have long lengths of poly piping. I believe this sewer line was pulled trenchlessly by means of pipe bursting. You can see when we get to the joint it's kind of rolled, and that's an indication of trenchless pipe. It's actually fused and melted together, and generally they're 20-foot lengths. So we're at about 20 feet, so we should have another joint at about 40 feet if we don't have a turn. All the poly pipe looks to be in good condition, and we're about 35 feet, and that's rolled as well. That is trenchless piping. As I said, we're going out toward the front of the house now, going out toward the street. And now we have an offset right here. We actually have what appears to be a break in the piping. You can see on top where you can see the whole top of the pipe, and it's dropped down right here, and that is by the barbecue area. So we've got an offset right here pretty drastic offset right there. You can see the top of that pipe, and you see on the left where it's kind of curled up and all. And we did mark that area, and I believe we're at about 5 foot 1 inches deep. And we're pushing out further. These joints appear to be in fairly good condition. Now we have a pretty large offset here as well. See the entire face of the pipe on the top left from about the 1 o'clock area to about the 7 o'clock area. And that is either vitreous clay or concrete piping. It looks like vitreous clay. That's an old piece of vitreous clay. And then we have the concrete joint right in front of us. We have either a very, very large overpour on the concrete joint, which that is more than likely, or we have an issue with the joint, which is very difficult to tell, but it looks to me from past experience that more than likely that's just an overpour of slag in the concrete joint. Then we have some minor roots right here, and we're at 63 feet 5 inches on the camera monitor, which is by the curb area, and we marked that area out at about 5 feet deep. We just marked it with a red crayon. We've got a belly right here. It's holding water right at this point. You can see that we're going underwater, so it's got a dip in the piping, and this is in the street. We can't even see exactly what that joint looks like. There is a joint right there. It's difficult to see. It doesn't look terrible, but we do have a major belly right there. And then we're going in, we have a belly here still. And then we start getting grade as we're dropping down into the street, going down toward the city sewer. And that joint has some minor roots in it, not terrible. Has some minor roots, and a little crack there toward about the 11 o'clock area on the face of the pipe. Not terrible. We do have a break. We do have a break in this area. You can see where that piece of pipe is actually broken out at the bottom, right at about the 7 o'clock area. That's broken, and it's holding water right there in that area. Get over that joint, and then we head down a little bit further, and we're dropping down into the saddle area. We got a little bit of a belly here again, and have a minor offset at that joint. Nothing terrible, but minor offset. And another minor offset at this joint, which is the saddle area. And then we're dropping down into the city sewer, where you can see the water is rushing through. So we've got some problems in the property line sewer, in the ABS plastic that is on the property by the barbecue area out toward the street. And then we have several issues in the vitreous clay, where we have some minor root intrusion, we have some substantial bellies in the piping, and we also have that one piece that is broken and the other area that has a minor crack. So we're going to begin pulling back now. As I said, you can see the water's just swirling where we have a belly right here, and that pipe is shifted. You can see where it's offset right there. You can't really see the face of the pipe on that left side. It is shifted a little bit right there. We're pulling back, and we have that break right there, right toward the face of the other joint. And we have minor root intrusion at that joint and a crack in the face of the piping. We're coming back up. That joint looked to be in fairly good condition. This joint's very difficult to see. We're actually hitting the face of the pipe just a little bit as we go out right there. We push real slow, we hit the face of the pipe just a tiny bit. It's not terrible, but we do have an offset there, and we do have a big dip in the pipe right there. We're holding water. This joint, we've got a pretty good offset right there. You can see quite a bit of the face of the pipe right there, right at the bottom. Difficult. As we pull back, you can see it better right there. And then we go underwater again. And we do have a belly in the piping right here. Nobody's running water right now. That's just standing water. As we sit for a moment, you can see the water's just swirling, coming back toward us. So it's not draining out the way that it should. Then we're coming back up the line, and we do have minor root intrusion in that joint. Can't see exactly what that joint looks like right there. It looks like there may be a little bit of a break at the bottom of that pipe as well. But unfortunately, we have roots covering that area, so it's difficult to tell exactly. Pulling back and coming back up the line, we have the concrete slag right there. And I believe that's all it is just an overpour on concrete slag, because I don't see a big offset on the piping, but we're in a turn, so it's very difficult to see. On that joint, we do have a shift in the pipe. We're coming back to ABS plastic piping. We do have a large shift in that joint. Coming back, and this ABS joint appears to be in fair condition. Now we're getting kind of stuck over here just a little bit. We're getting stuck on that joint. That's got a pretty large offset right there. And it's just, we're dropping down. You can see this should match up. This piece, and then we drop down into the line. That piece should match up nice and flush, but it's not. And that is dropping about, probably about 2 inches, a good 2 inches. So right now, instead of having a full 4-inch opening, you've probably got closer to a 3-inch opening right there. And that will probably continue to shift, and that can offset and completely sever the sewer right there. So from that point on, that needs to be repaired. Coming back now toward the house, we didn't see any other issues here. Everything looked to be in pretty good condition. All the joints look to be good. That joint's got a little bit of shifting in the pipe. You can see the face of the pipe on the right-hand side on the screen right there, and you can't see it on the left. That's kind of minor. That's inside the coupling. I don't believe that's going to cause an issue at this time. But we're going to try and just pop the camera in and run up the line if we can a little bit. See if we can see anything up the line. Got a little bit of belly. Running back in and actually running up the pipe, and then we transition to cast iron right here. I don't know how far we can get back in with the cast iron. We've got some buildup and corrosion in the cast iron line. And then we're coming back to a cap, an end cap. We can't pass that area. This doesn't look terrible, but it's at a point where it's ready to be hydrojetted. It needs to be cleaned out really well. Got quite a bit of buildup under there, but it is older cast iron at the same time, so you have to be careful about hydrojetting the cast iron. If you hydrojet it too aggressively, you can end up putting holes through the pipe. And it is thin. You can put holes through the pipe even if you're real careful. Unfortunately, sometimes the cast iron is just very thin, and you can't tell how thin it is until you start hydrojetting. And as I said, it does appear to be older cast iron. And now we're pulling out of the mainline cleanout. And that will conclude our video sewer inspection.